She was the wild child of Hollywood, the one who wore blood around her neck and played the dark, edgy roles that others were too afraid to touch. But behind the tabloid chaos and that unforgettable stare was a woman finding her way through pain, love, war zones, and eventually redemption. This is the story of Angelina Jolie, actress, director, mother, humanitarian, a life lived loud, messy, and ultimately beautifully. Angelina Jolie Voigt was born on June 4, 1975, in Los Angeles. She had Hollywood in her blood. Her dad was John Voight, an Oscar-winning actor. Her mom, Marceline Bertrand, gave up her own acting dreams to raise Angelina and her brother. But the family was fractured early on. Her parents split when she was just a baby. And that abandonment by her father? It stuck with her deep. She grew up watching her mother struggle. Soft-spoken, sweet, but heartbroken. Angelina idolized her, not for her strength, but for her vulnerability. As a teen, Angie wasn't the glamorous icon we know today. She was skinny, awkward, and, in her own words, a misfit. She wore black, studied embalming. She was drawn to the macabre. She self-harmed, battled depression, felt like she didn't belong. But all that pain? It eventually became her fuel. She didn't ease into Hollywood. She kicked the door down. By the time she was in her early 20s, she had already done roles in films like Hackers, Gia, and Girl, Interrupted. Gia put her on the map, a raw, no-holds-barred performance of a supermodel spiraling into addiction. Then came Girl, Interrupted, where she played Lisa, a charismatic sociopath who stole every scene. That role won her an Academy Award. And just like that, the industry couldn't look away. But Jolie wasn't chasing fame. In fact, she seemed to be running from it. She was rebellious, chaotic, and refreshingly unfiltered. She wore her pain on her sleeve, and sometimes, quite literally, around her neck, like that infamous vial of Billy Bob Thornton's blood. To the world, she was wild, dangerous, maybe even unstable. But to her, she was just surviving, just being honest. Then something changed. In 2002, she adopted her first child, Maddox, from Cambodia. And everything about her shifted. She started speaking softer, smiling more, choosing projects less for shock value and more for purpose. Being a mother, she said, saved her. More adoptions followed. Zahara from Ethiopia, Pax from Vietnam. Then came Shiloh, her first biological child with Brad Pitt, followed by twins, Knox and Vivian. 6 kids. A chaotic, loving, multicultural family. Her relationship with Brad Pitt became the stuff of Hollywood legend. Glamorous, intense, and endlessly dissected. But for years, they seemed like the perfect power couple. Behind the scenes, though, Angelina was changing. Fast. The woman who once played Lara Croft became someone you'd find in war zones. Angelina became a goodwill ambassador for the UN in 2001. But this wasn't just a photo op. She went deep. She visited over 30 countries, met with refugees, sat in tents, listened to stories. She didn't just show up. She learned. She advocated. She cared. In 2012, she was promoted to Special Envoy of the UNHCR. She started directing films about war, displacement, and trauma. In the land of blood and honey. Unbroken. First, they killed my father. These weren't vanity projects. They were raw, real, and often deeply personal. She once said, "I don't want to just be remembered for being an actress. I want to be remembered for the work I've done to help others." And honestly, she will be. In 2013, Angelina made a deeply personal and very public choice. She announced that she had undergone a preventative double mastectomy after learning she carried the BRCA1 gene. giving her an 87% risk of breast cancer, the same disease that took her mother. The world was stunned, not just because of the surgery, but because of the courage it took to share it. Later, she had her ovaries removed too. It wasn't just about survival. It was about empowering women to take control of their health. She turned her own vulnerability into a public act of strength. In 2016, her relationship with Brad Pitt came to a dramatic end. The divorce was messy, public, and painful, especially with 6 children in the spotlight. But Angelina didn't spiral. She did what she's always done. She turned inward, focused on her kids. She began living a quieter life, directing, writing, spending time at home, supporting human rights, teaching her children to care more about the world than red carpets. Angelina Jolie isn't just a movie star. She's a mother, a survivor, a warrior for those without a voice. She's flawed, sure, but she's real. She's not trying to be perfect. And maybe that's what makes her so magnetic. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And for more motivational stories and inspiring biographies of world-famous personalities, make sure to subscribe Millionaire Dad so we can learn and grow together. See you in the next one.